In this episode,
we're announcing the live show.
The Fantasy Football Show.
What's happening, listeners? Welcome to episode 2 of Planet FPL's third season. We're getting into season 3, James. How are you?
Right, missed you, mate.
Missed you too. It's only been 10 days since we recorded our last episode.
Getting sick of the fucking sight of you, but
yeah, true. It was weird how back end of last week or early this week, I felt like, hang on, we haven't recorded for ages. And it'd only been 7 days. But the fact that we'd put so much content out in June and then the game dropped made me feel like we were missing out last week. But it was also actually nice to take a little break.
I think people need it, bro. I'm still getting tweets. So
I'll
I'm up
take it.
to episode 24. Like, come on.
I've not really. I've absorbed a bit of content and I have put a draft together, but I've not been knee deep in FPL in the last week and a bit. However, I'm going on holiday next week, and that will be time to maybe get into it a little
Where
bit.
you
more.
going?
Sunny Weymouth.
Oh, it's not really holiday, is it?
Nah, it's. Don't tell my kids that. Fucking hell. Don't tell my kids that. Don't tell my wife that.
I'd like to point out that I've been on holiday off work this week and I haven't left North London, mate.
Where'd you go? Enfield. I made it to the garden.
Nowhere.
So FPL is alive and kicking, and it really is, right? There is a hive of activity. I feel like there's a lot of conversations going on and content being pumped out and all the rest of that stuff at the moment.
Obviously the streamers are back up, podcasters are back up. I think everybody seems to be going a lot earlier than they would have in previous years. I'm blaming us for that, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the 30 and 30 did come in super early. But yeah.
We're at a stage now where the mindset of the community does seem to be slowly shifting from opinions. Everybody, obviously, when it started, was very much, look at them defensive prices, as were we. So things have obviously shifted, moves in the market, obviously like Perez and Tielemans turning up at Leicester, and suddenly people go, is Vardy the answer now? What does that mean for Maddison? Does that mean Maguire and Chilwell and them are staying? Are Leicester suddenly a top 4 consideration? So, and obviously things like Arnie going, and then people go,
Adios.
Is Chicharito an answer? And I've got a good answer for that, which I'll save for later in the pod.
What, it's a 2-word answer? No. So it's not exactly going to be rocket science.
Since when was no a 2-word answer?
2-letter answer, sorry. 2 letters. No. Or, okay, it's a 2-word answer. Fuck no. So it started out with the price drops of the players, the 10 that they released early. And I think the overwhelming kind of feeling when most of those dropped was, oh, that's a bit cheap. Oh, Salah's had a drop. Jimenez was cheaper than we expected. Robbo was cheaper than most people expected. So overall, across the game, I would say that most people are a little bit cheaper than I expected. Yet, piecing together a team is not actually any easier because they're all cheaper. So piecing the jigsaw together was actually just as hard as it ever has been. I think the general consensus is that they have done a good job with the pricing.
Yes, overall, I still think some of those, basically the 3 Liverpool defensive, I just think it's still too low. But the rest, generally, they've done clever things like with Kane's price.
Correct.
Even, Jimenez under Wilson has got people questioning.
Yeah, the price difference between Jota and Jimenez is nice and
Wilson
tight.
and King is 1.5.
It's big.
So there's different arguments to be had. Now, obviously, Tielemans coming in at sort of 6.5 against Maddison's 7. Jose Perez obviously moved 6.5.
Yeah.
Maddison was in a lot.
We'll talk about our drafts, but Perez is in my draft at the moment.
Okay.
Jose.
I'm not against that.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, there's a buzz of activity. At the same time, there's so much up in the air. Like, a lot of people I know have Maguire in their draft, hoping that he'll move to City. Whether or not he'll end up at City or United, who knows. A lot of people sitting on Zaha and Fraser, hoping that there may be a move to Arsenal. And all of that still needs to unravel in the next few
I
weeks.
think, just to cover the 3 of them off briefly, I think Maguire would be mad to move. I think he needs to give that team a 1-year shot at it.
Well, looking at the signings
building.
coming in, I'm like, you know what? Leicester are making moves.
But that's what everybody's saying.
I'm impressed with their business.
Everybody's looking at
Very impressed.
United, and obviously what's happening and not happening with, say, Pogba, Lukaku, etc. And all the players are getting linked with seem to be below Man United standards, as far as I can tell. Arsenal with their the Zaha bid.
Same old stupidity, isn't it?
Literally within about 48 hours of them selling their right back for 10 million more than what Arsenal bid for Zaha.
More 15 even, isn't it?
I
I thought
don't-
you went
I-
for
I- I
55
don't
and
know.
they bid 40.
Yeah, I don't know if Arsenal are playing games and they've got more money than they're making out. Because what's their thinking there? Yeah, we've got 40 million. Yeah, Wilf, can you force a move, mate? We actually haven't got any more than that. Like, it's not going to fucking
it's
happen,
obviously
is it?
designed as a negotiation tactic and to
Yeah.
unsettle the player. But it's so low that it's almost take the piss level low.
Yeah.
If there's ever a club that can cock up a transfer, it is Arsenal.
And obviously with them, the news that broke this morning about Koscielny, I mean, that is so out of the blue, refusing to go on tour.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he's old and
He's their captain, mate.
yeah.
And that's why people are looking at, say, Leicester. Uncertainties around, obviously, Lampard at Chelsea. I mean, the Chelsea fans I speak to seem to have a good vibe for it at the moment with these
Sure.
kids getting a chance, etc.
Yeah.
But Lampard out was trending last night after one pre-season game.
Not surprising at all.
So, yes, I think people are looking at sort of a Leicester even more than, say, Everton Wolves at the moment and thinking, yeah, shit, that's... You start putting their best 11 on the pitch and you're talking about leaving out the likes of sort of Harvey Barnes, Damari Gray. Strong.
Very strong. At the moment, I feel like there are a handful of players that are fitting into that template bracket. When we get to the start of the season, I think we'll see much more diversity in the teams than we potentially think there will be right now. I think people will have quite a wide range of players. For me, I mean, it was interesting. I think it came up on Twitter or on the Three Amigos. Like Aguero, take Aguero for example. He has on the game, he's really high ownership, but in amongst the community, he has very low ownership. So what will happen with the 4.5 or 5 million players that are not on Twitter? We sometimes turn a blind eye to it, but I think there will be a lot of diversity in teams when the start of the season comes. I don't know what your thoughts are, but when I've been doing my analysis, right, this is quite interesting. I think that the top 4 or 5 premium players will end up all being there or thereabouts. Sterling and Salah might be 20 points. I think the real key is, can you find the 5, 6, 7 million pound differentials early enough that will really give you that kickstart? And that's the area where you should be focusing most of your energy and thoughts rather than on the premiums necessarily.
There aren't many though. That's the problem.
There are a ton of good players at that price.
Once you go below in sort of midfield and attack, once you go below 6.5, it's nearly a graveyard. I mean,
Yeah.
I like Calvert-Lewin at 6 million, for example, but most other people I speak to don't seem too keen. For example,
I agree with you up front. There's no one worth anything. The only one and he's in my team is I've got McGoldrick at 5.5.
I think it's fine. Yeah.
But apart from that, there is very slim pickings. Midfield below 6 million, I agree with you as well. There's very slim pickings. But in defence, there's a few. The whole of the Tottenham defence being 5.5.
And that's why so many, when you compare if you compare it sort of like your Lucas Deans and your Cole Walkers and that with your people like Calvert-Lewin, Jack Grealish and that at similar prices, which one are you going to fucking buy at that price? You're going to buy the defenders.
Yeah.
That's my point. And therefore, it also makes that middle ground of almost 5 million and 5.5 for defenders like its own kind of graveyard. Unless something obvious begins to come up, like, I don't know, Christensen's definitely going to start the season, or Spurs sell Trippier and Serge Aurier's going to play at the start of the season, which is also unlikely because he's still in the African Nations Cup, as is like Wilf Sahara and Mane and a few others, for example, as well. So there's so much that can still change opinion-wise. And obviously, so many transfer moves still to go ahead, which is going to shift so many people and their thoughts.
And prices of some of the new signings have actually been pretty good. I mean, Tielemans 6.5 is good value.
Yeah, it's fine.
Pulisic, I remember you saying you thought Pulisic might be 9 million. He's coming in at 7.5.
I thought Pulisic would be 8.5 plus.
Yeah.
Just because he's the shiny, but
7.5
he's
is
gone
cheap.
in at 7.5 as equal highest at Chelsea. They are the most fascinating FPL team at the moment. I think the majority of us won't start with any of them. Does help that they start with United away and Leicester at home is not the best first two. And you probably want to assist that first. But I think getting into the season, the prices of like Hudson-Odoi, Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic, if he does hit the ground running, they're all going to be amazing FPL gems potentially, and they're probably all going to start from a low ownership point of view as well.
Let's run down. So the plan, we're going to run down some of the transfers, rumours, ins and outs for the clubs, and what's been happening that could have an impact from an FPL point of view. We'll look at our drafts. We both have a draft. I mean, I would say my draft is 50-60% at best at the moment, with so much still to happen, but definitely worth having a look at drafts, as well as this big at the back talk that's happening at the moment, and whether or not 5 at the back is really the way to go. Is 3-4-3 dead? And then we've got a bunch of Twitter questions as always as well. Sound good?
Yeah, I'm in.
Where do we start? Alphabetically, top of the tree, Gooners. Now, I don't know. We alluded to them there. The way that City do their business, they identify the price, they buy, they're done. The way the Rodri deal happened, for example, slick as you like. The way Ndombele went to you guys, slick as you like. They just seem to, I don't know. Maybe I get caught up a little bit too much with the rumours that get announced and what they say on Arsenal Fan TV. Arsenal are linked with this player and that player. Maybe they aren't actually linked with that many players, but they definitely need a centre-back. They do need some creative midfielders. Just make it happen, surely, or surely not.
You're asking the Spurs fan for. I'm just sitting here going,
just make it happen. But even something as straightforward as...
Yeah, but you're talking about the fella from St. Etienne.
Yeah.
But they're talking about him going back there.
Exactly, which is also another stupidity. But take, for example, Lewis Dunk at Brighton. He'd be a good addition to the Arsenal squad. Better than what they've got. Mustafi, come on.
I think the problem for Arsenal is they want to buy a centre-half. That's the sort of valuation of player they're going to be looking at. It's more like Lewis Dunk. They can't look at Harry Maguire, can they?
No, they ain't going to pay 70 million for
So, I mean, they could look at Alderweireld, for example. He's available if someone wants to buy him next to... But that's the signing that they want, isn't it, really? I mean, in terms of would it work for them, it's very controversial, I get it. I don't see why Toby would want to go there. I think Toby would go, nah, do you know what, fuck it, I'll sign another year.
No. And then you've got Zaha in the works. You've got Fraser in the works, potentially, as well. And there's talk about, would you rather Fraser or would you rather Zaha or would you rather both? Both would be good assets, because I think you've got two guys up front there in Lacazette and Aubameyang who know where the back of the net is. So somebody like loading up the bullets for them to put in the back of the net would be really interesting. And if Zaha moves to Arsenal or Fraser moves to Arsenal at 7 and 7.5, I will be considering one of the two for sure.
On Zaha, I don't think he'll start the season wherever he is. I don't think he'll play.
I mean, still, in
the Africans,
Côte d'Ivoire,
and obviously, even more so if he moves, I think he'd be unlikely to start game week 1.
Yeah.
Even if he did, that's going to have a longer term effect. That's probably not going to be beneficial during a first season, moving to a bigger club if he goes. I can't see Zaha going there because, by all accounts, they just haven't got the money. The only way I can see that happening is if they sell Aubameyang.
Okay.
It's the only way I can see that happening. But you're right, the priority is defensively. But do look at Arsenal, and you look at the first two, Newcastle away, Burnley at home. If Holding can make the start of the season, even more so with Koscielny problem, their best defender at the club is 4.5 million if Koscielny goes.
He's in my squad at the moment. He's in yours?
He's not in mine at the moment because I don't think he'll make the start of the season. But it might even be one that I'd look at and go, well, I know he's going to be value further down the line. Let me just stick him on my bench for now. Possibly. I think one that's really getting not spoken about at the moment is Lacazette.
Mm-hmm.
Price is really good, 9.5. And I see so much talk about, say, Vardy at the moment, and people not really knowing which way to go on Leicester. Leicester start with Wolves at home, Chelsea away, while Arsenal start with Newcastle away, Burnley at home. If you want Vardy in, why don't you just go to Lacazette and then move down to Vardy when you're ready?
Yeah.
I think he's probably... He's owned under 10% at the moment. He's in mine at the moment because he also gives me the captaincy cover for game week 2, which at the moment would be a problem for me. And I think that's being really underestimated at the moment, that Arsenal look like they've got the best fixture in game week 2. And I think that should be considered. Lacazette in a home fixture is a captainable player.
For sure. Villa, Adam Hopcroft will be dancing in the garden because of Mings' signing, because he really wanted that to go through, and that's obviously happened. But they've strengthened defensively, bringing in Matt Targett as well. Wesley's now been priced up at 6 million. Do you have any Villa assets? I have none, and there's not any that I'm considering at the moment. Maybe Al Mohammadi, but probably not.
Not at the moment. personally, what's worth saying is at the moment, and there's a little chatter about this online at the moment, is they're the high spenders at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, there's a school of thought that they're kind of attacking it in the way Fulham did, and they're not attacking it necessarily in the right areas with the right type of players. If I say to you they've spent the most amount of money so far, the default players, we don't really know a Premier League quality top level. I like Target as a left back, for example. Mings, for whatever reason, didn't work out at Bournemouth, has been very good at Villa. Wesley's obviously complete unknown. To be seen. Villa feel very avoidable for me. Not a great opening fixture.
No, for me as well. Bournemouth haven't really done any business and bought anyone in. The only player that priced up Stacey at 4.5.
Well, Stacey's a really interesting one because I saw someone post some stats that they bought him for 4 million from Luton.
Yeah.
Unlike Lloyd Kelly, who'd come in for the other fullback position, doesn't get attacking returns. This fellow's coming from Luton does. I think he had the third highest attacking returns through the football leagues last season.
Okay.
So one to watch. Maybe he's come in at 4.5. I've said I'll never go back to a Bournemouth defender ever again, and I can't see that. But of those two,
Metham
sort of
still haunting your
Stacey,
dreams.
Kelly, Stacey's an interesting one. Fascinating to see what happens. I see people talking about Aki potentially if he goes to City. Personally, if he went to City, I wouldn't see him being anything other than Laporte's understudy.
Yeah, or fifth choice. I mean, if Maguire goes and Ake go, Ake's like back of the queue, mate.
Or Aki's left-footed as well.
Yeah.
So I think that would sort the cover. I don't know if obviously he's Dutch, but I don't know if you'd get any homegrown criteria out of him because he has been knocking around in English football for a long time now. I'm not sure. And the forward players, I still see Josh King in a lot of teams. I think it's fine.
He's in my team at the moment.
I think a lot of people won't go to Wilson because it's a big enough difference. Fraser's back in mine at the moment because those first two, Sheffield United and Villa, although they're unknown, it's appealing, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, I only wanted one Bournemouth asset. I didn't want doubling up. Fraser sat in my draft for quite a while, but he's out now. He's out now at the moment, but Josh King is still in.
I'd say Fraser's no more than 40-50% I start with him, to be honest.
Yeah, let's see.
I'm very open-minded about all these guys at the moment.
Seagulls, nothing really happening.
No, I want to speak to Sam in the next couple of weeks once he's seen Trossard.
Yeah.
And keep an eye on that. And obviously, as we said previously, if Dunk goes to Leicester, then that's a different kind of investment altogether. 4.5 for a side
Leicester defender
that we're talking about is possibly going to push the
We'll
top
all
six.
have him. We'll all have him. We're talking about Burnley.
Burnley's an interesting one. We didn't really
Rodriguez
mention,
has
obviously,
moved now.
looks like Heaton might be on his way to Villa.
Yeah.
Which suddenly,
Pope.
from being in the position of, not really knowing and going, where's the 4.5 options? Well, suddenly, if one of them's moved, that's open to definitely. Where we could go, Pope at Burnley, or I'd like Heaton at Villa, actually. That would, if I'd had to go into Villa and Heaton went there, that wouldn't bother me so much.
I'm sitting on Ederson at the moment, which is basically because I'm just taking an easy cop-out option. There are no 4.5s. It's either 4.5 or 6.
Why is it an easy cop-out
well,
option? It's fine.
No, put it this way. There's no 4.5 options there. So
You just feel like that choice is not fun.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just thinking, you know what? Rather than try and juggle things around and find the best way to get some potential value, I've just gone with the most expensive player and safety first. It's just safety first, really. But the only club I would go downgrade to find the 4.5s would be Burnley. Like Brighton doesn't interest me. Ryan and Button doesn't interest me as a combo. So, I would like Heaton to move to Villa if for no reason other than it makes my FPL life easier.
I can 90% understand that those two will get very much looked at if that move goes through. And obviously, the other noticeable one with Burnley at the moment is Jay Rodriguez.
Yeah, 6 million though. I mean, I don't think he's that good a player.
He's had terrible injuries, man.
Yeah.
He's done all right at West Brom the last couple of years. He's been fit for sort of 18 months now, and he hasn't been since he basically went to the World Cup in 2014. I think it's more to the point it's really off-putting for Wood and Barnes. He's coming in cheaper.
He is cheaper, but is he going to get in the team ahead of either of those two?
I think Rodriguez even has the capacity to play in a wide area.
He does. He's pacey enough, but I would play Wood ahead of Rodriguez any day. and Barnes probably. So I don't know. Rodriguez doesn't interest me. If
But
he's your
when
cup
we
of
spoke
tea,
to
go
Jack,
for
that's
it.
not what he'd say, is it? He would go, right, Ashley Barnes would be the first one in. I'm sure he would still say, yeah, Ashley Barnes.
Yeah, ahead of Jay Rodriguez. Rodriguez is just it'd be a waste of a spot.
Then that's an argument in itself, isn't it?
It's a waste
so
of a
they
spot.
just become avoidable. Eric Peters has also gone there from Stoke. Seen Charlie Taylor, we'd kind of mentioned it. It's probably the best asset there at the moment defensively. Shouldn't affect Taylor's place in the team. It's
No.
just a backup.
Nothing happening at Chelsea because obviously they're not
Can't buy
allowed
no
to.
one. Well, they've bought
But-
Kovacic.
Yeah, they confirmed that, and
Sneaky
Pulisic
as.
has come in at 7.5 million. We talked a little bit about Chelsea. It's a real watch and wait brief with them, isn't it?
I think so. Those opening two are obviously particularly off-putting. And there are so many unknowns. So many unknowns. He's obviously going to try different players in different formations come the start of the season. Official FPL, if you're like watching or listening, by the way, can we have Kurt Zuma's price? Can we have Batshuayi's price? Can we have Abraham's price? Can we
Yeah.
have Mason Mount, Reece James, Bakayoko? Can we have all these fucking prices, please? Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, sometime in the next
That's
week
my
is fine.
that's my rant.
Rant
over.
out of the way. I didn't see that one coming.
Well, still, we said when we recorded 10 days ago, wankers, where's Abraham and Batshuayi's price? There's no reason not to. The others like Mount and Reece James and that, and Tamori, yeah, I can understand that. Price these two forwards up.
Yes, please.
What are you playing at?
Yeah. I mean,
And
what's your
Zuma as well.
what's
needs
your
a
thoughts
price.
on Giroud at 7 million?
If you play every week, you'd be in.
Um,
I think that could be the case for any one of the three if it becomes obvious that they're going to be the man.
Clem.
We just really don't know. Batshuayi played from in a friendly last night and scored. Abraham's probably going to be a little behind, having been in the under-21 tournament. So whether he can get up to fitness-wise and get ahead of the other two for opening day might be difficult. But we know Ted thought that he really could potentially push for it. We don't know. That's the point. I think Pedro might turn out to be a good early doors asset, but we don't know. So you're just staying away, aren't you?
Yeah. Palace, nothing happening really. No ins
Well, it's more about the outs, isn't it?
and no outs as yet.
It's all about the outs, and there's obviously potentially good defensive ones there that where Palace have been sort of overpriced with the PVAs, Sakho's last couple of years.
Yeah.
There's obviously Kelly knocking about at 4.0, Ward at 4.5, might start the
Tompkins,
season
I
at
think
right
he's
back.
4.5 as well.
Tompkins 5, isn't he?
I couldn't tell you, but I mean, either way, I'm not looking at it.
I wouldn't look at Tompkins. I'd more look at Ward or Kelly's in mine at the moment as filler, 4 million. Actually, I've got Kelly and Gibson in at the moment, just filling out. Fuck the bench is my attitude to it at the moment. Max Meyer is one I want to mention. Was speaking to McTavius about him yesterday. At 5.5 million, could well play in an even more advanced position this year, particularly if Zaha goes. And he might be the one at 5.5. But that's why he's such slim pickings in there. His ownership 0.2%, by the way.
Interesting. Toffees, only Gomez, which is a confirmation of last year's low.
Yeah, they need to obviously.
I didn't like Richarlison's price at 8 million. I thought Gylfi was great
Richarlison-
at 8 million, and
Richarlison's gone
Richarlison at 8
from-
is stupid.
Richarlison's gone from, in
6.5.
FPL terms, to out of position darling to FPL troll to fuck, we've all missed his points to. He's in nobody's team, is he?
No.
So everybody's taking the judgment
Because
call.
you're just going to go Gylfi.
That's the judgment call that everybody's made, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And that's the
interestingly,
right
on
call.
them, I've spoken to a few people who tried to sort of put me off Calvert-Lewin. I look at Calvert-Lewin at 6 and I think...
But you wanted him cheaper.
Nah, that's fine, 6.
Okay, I thought 5.5.
You're looking at players. And if he's going to play every week up front for Everton, can he improve on what he did last year? With his first full season playing up front,
100%.
Yeah. But you're trying to look for players who are going to be like what you said this year's Fraser or something that's suddenly going to break out. He's the one in that area who I feel has the capability to seriously improve this year. Having said that, I've seen links again this morning with Diego Costa again.
For Everton, I thought it was Wolves.
Oh, both.
Well, whoever can try and get their hands on it.
So, I mean, oddly enough, I would see Diego Costa struggling to get in the Wolves team. I wouldn't see him struggling to get in the Everton team.
Yeah.
Which is
You're
interesting.
right. Leicester probably doing the best business so far and really strengthening in good areas.
Well, now it's about will they stay? Like the other guys, like Maguire particularly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is anything going to tempt them? I mean, what you got to remember is the knock-on effect of certain things. So, Neymar, right? It's nothing to do with us. It's not going to come to a Premier League side.
No,
But if Neymar goes to Barcelona,
correct.
Barcelona have got to sell on presumably Coutinho and a Dembele, for example, to fund it.
Yeah.
Right, where are those guys going to go? They might go to PSG. If they don't go to PSG, PSG have got a war chest to start looking at people.
Oh,
Now,
Coutinho,
PSG, for example, might look at Ericsson or Pogba. Maybe, I don't know. Then suddenly, if Pogba does go, United then go, fuck it, we'll pay over the odds for like a Maddison.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, quite possibly. There will be a
There's
chain
knock-on
reaction.
effects that can still happen.
There's talk of Coutinho going back to Liverpool potentially as well. And that would be a great signing for Liverpool if they can make that happen. I mean, Liverpool with Coutinho puts them into title challenging brackets.
What have they been for the last year?
No, I mean, next season I'm still backing City. And I'm fairly confident in backing City. But if Coutinho goes back to Liverpool, I'm not so sure all of a sudden.
I think for Liverpool,
I wouldn't put money on it anymore.
it would be depth that they need in the fullback areas, particularly, and also the forwards areas as well.
Yeah.
Shaqiri and Origi will both do decent jobs for you. I don't know if you want that for prolonged periods.
No.
If, say, Mane or Salah was out for 2 or 3 months. So it's just depth that I think Liverpool need. Coutinho would give them the one thing that they really lack, which is natural creativity from central area.
Yeah, I mean, Lallana hasn't been able to really fill his boots, has he?
Fitness. I don't know if Chamberlain Chamberlain will definitely make a
Ox
difference
is
for them
cheap,
this year.
6.5 million in the game.
We've spoken about this before. You're not going to look at
Until
these
you
guys.
know he's playing week in, week out.
If Liverpool turn around and say, let's give you an example. Let's say Liverpool turn around and say, Mane's not going to play open day, definitely because his involvement in the AFCON. Which how long we got to go now? 3 weeks?
August the 10th, today's July the 11th. So call it 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 or 5 weeks.
All right.
Just over.
He's playing in
tad
the
over 4 weeks.
semi-final at the weekend or something,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
Sunday or Monday, right? And he played in the Champions League final as well. So it's not like he had a break before the AFCON. He had no break. He's got to have a holiday.
Yeah.
That's why I'd still even have small question marks about people like Salah as well.
Yeah. Well, he is back now.
But they might say, look, all right, Mane's definitely not going to play opening day. You ain't buying Origi, I'm telling you. You're not going to waste that space.
No, of
even
course
though
not.
you know
Yeah, but
that on the opening
what
day, he
about
might
Ox?
tear it up for you.
Ox.
No, why?
Let's see.
Rotation. He's
Come
more of
back
a
to
rotation
come back.
problem as well.
We've been through Liverpool. We were partway through Leicester where we jumped the gun a little. You've got Tielemans. I've got Perez. Perez. I think Perez will play up front with Vardy, or literally off Vardy. That's what I feel like. Perez is an out of position striker in midfield at 6.5 million, playing alongside Jamie Vardy.
Yes.
With creative players behind him like Maddison, Tielemans, Barnes, and whoever else you want to name.
Yes,
I just feel
potentially, but I would see him playing on the right of a front three, I think.
Regardless, 6.5 million.
There's
It's a similar Salah position or Sterling position
There's a
then.
number of ways Leicester could set up next year. I mean, we've already spoke about perhaps Barnes and Damari Gray maybe not being in their best 11 now. Chowdhury, who went to the under-21s with England, was really good like at the Etihad and against Arsenal towards the end last season. Was he playing a double pivot with Ndidi?
He's very cheap as well, Chowdhury, £4.5 million.
Then you're leaving one of the others out maybe. So Tielemans at the moment is sitting in there as a placer because I think I want someone at a 6.5 valuation. I'm absolutely not sure that I want it to be him. I wouldn't say me starting with Tielemans is any more than about 15-20% at the moment. And I'd say the same for Jose Perez. My temptation is possibly with Leicester, a little bit like what I said with the Lacazette Vardy thing, is to set up easy moves to once I know.
Of course. Liverpool, we spoke about, no moves yet. City, Angelino, I want Mendy. I want Mendy.
Get over Mendy.
I
man.
want Mendy in my squad. I now have 2 reasons why he's a risk. And so I think Mendy's going to have to come out of my draft. He's still sitting in there at 6 million. The good thing is I can go anywhere almost really, can't I, from Mendy.
So
but
FPL Bringwood did a brilliant post last week on the left backs.
yes.
Once Angelino had signed and he banged. Bless him, he upped his follower count by about 50%. Love it. And my friend, your correspondent mini league prize is in the post to you as well. His advice was that if you're going to go down that route, yes, you can still take a chance on Zinchenko, but you've got to be prepared for what might come and get you.
And with the big at the back, the amazing talent that's available at 5.5, 6.5 million, you don't want to waste it on a risk. Do it with a midfielder maybe as your 4th midfielder, but 6 million in defence is considered premium. You don't want to do it on a risk, in my
I
opinion.
think what would be interesting to watch for with City in the next couple of weeks is not necessarily that area, because I think we know they do want a centre half.
Yeah.
I don't see him now. They've got Rodri in as well. I probably don't see him doing any more than that. I don't think.
In midfield.
Yeah, no. You think about, do you want to block off like Foden's development and stuff like that?
And they've got a new player coming back in, Kevin De Bruyne. And
Exactly.
Stuff. I think they've got plenty of strength and depth there.
So the only one, I mean, the watch one for me is with Sane.
If he leaves.
Well, again, is it one that suddenly PSG would look at it with the money and go, oh yeah, we know Bayern Munich are really interested, but don't know if they're going to pay what City want. But it, Sane as a replacement for Neymar feels quite natural in my opinion.
Yeah.
If that was a move that all parties would want to make happen, then that, although Sane's out of favour, that would add to the appeal of a Sterling or a Bernardo or a Mahrez more, wouldn't it? If you want to go down that route. I think particularly actually Bernardo Silva, if Sane moved on.
Manchester United, they've got Wan-Bissaka. I mean, they're the only club linked with more players than Arsenal at the moment, really. I mean, they're linked with everyone. Did you see
it's
ridiculous. 100 players they've been linked to.
Did you see the post that they put out, the official account, and walking through the park?
Of who? Wan-Bissaka?
No, of like Lingard and Pogba having a row.
No, I did not.
Posted on the official account, and they've tried to, oh, it's not a thing. No, yeah, it's a thing. Lindelof puts his arm around Pogba and is like, don't go there, mate.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to say, I've been off Twitter. I need like somebody to collate a list of tweets that I should have a look at.
I feel like for
Just
a club,
tag me in any tweet I need to look at now.
for a club which really is the behemoth of global marketing in football,
Richest club in the world in so many ways. Maybe
they're really getting a lot wrong.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
The latest link is, so Lamina's put in a transfer request with Southampton.
Correct.
So they reckon that they're going to go for Lamina. I like Lamina. I've said this so many times. Every time
I know exactly what you say. It's not Man United.
It's not, man. Stop it.
I do feel a bit weird here talking about our premium clubs. Like, look at Real Madrid who just dropped money on Hazard and they're looking at getting in Eriksen and whatever else. Barcelona are talking about buying Neymar and they already had De Jong wrapped up, etc. And then you got United, out one of our biggest clubs, going in and buying Lamina. I think the Spanish boys are really getting players at a serious level, but the money they're paying is also serious, like hundreds of millions of pounds.
If Pogba and Lukaku go, suddenly you've got 200 million.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get 120 odd.
Will they spend it properly?
Who knows? And if they don't succeed, they'll spend it again next year.
There's nobody in that squad I'd be looking at the moment. I think the only notables is, from the training reports we've heard, they're in Australia at the moment, is that Wan-Bissaka and Daniel James have really impressed so far.
I mean, they're good young players,
and
but
he might at 6 million might start the season, because it might just look at it and go, this lad's impressing, he's really fit. I don't know, but we'll get to see that in friendlies, I think, if that's going to be a possibility.
The only other one that's there is one of the very few players in the game that's had more than a 2 million price drop, and it's so extreme. And I wouldn't do it in game week 1, is obviously Sanchez. Like 2 seasons ago, he was 12 million. If he's their main man up front and he's firing, we're all going to have him.
Do you remember
I think he's just going to be a template. If he fires, he's going to be a template because he's so cheap.
Do you remember when we recorded with Dara, episode 27?
Yeah.
And Dara said and we were taking the piss at the time when we said, Dara said I wouldn't buy him at 7 million, not thinking he would drop that much.
Yeah.
So went back and checked and he was like, no,
still not going to buy him at 7 million.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But if I see any signs that he's got any kind of form, then I will be thinking about getting him in ASAP. Moving from a club that don't know how to spend their money wisely to a club that don't spend any money, Newcastle. I mean, I don't know what to say with Newcastle.
I think right now, if you don't think Newcastle are going to go down, you're brave in saying that, I think.
Still a lot can happen.
Yes, but
takeover could still happen.
I mean, if it's they're talking about getting Bruce in, right? That's seriously fucking underwhelming, man. Yeah. Like, seriously. And it just smells of, do you know what, mate? Come in, keep us up with what you've got. We're not going to spend till there's any takeover or who even knows. Was it all a smokescreen? Was there ever going to be a takeover? No, we don't know, do we?
No.
It smells horrible. The 2 best players from last year, certainly in attacking sense, Perez and Rondon, are not there. mean, what are you starting with at the moment? Muto and Hosselu again. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You're going to fucking struggle, man.
It's not
and
looking
you've
good.
taken away one of the best defensive coaches on the planet,
Yeah.
which is one of the reasons they were performing quite well the last 2 seasons.
I mean, based on all of that, you're talking about Arsenal having the best fixture in game week 2. They've got a pretty good fixture in game week 1 as well.
Yeah, all I mean from that, when I talk about Lacazette game week 2, is you wouldn't go and captain a Lacazette or Aubameyang if you've got Kane,
City,
Salah,
West
Mane,
Ham,
any of
whatever,
that.
yeah. Interesting. Norwich, interesting that they're boosting their squad with as a promoted club would, with not like world beaters or what have you.
No, and they
but there's
don't want
plenty of talent at Norwich that's worth considering. All been priced reasonably.
Yeah,
The Buendias of the
Patrick
world.
Roberts obviously gone there on loan from City, who they spent a fortune on to get from Fulham a few years ago, and had an okayish loan at Celtic as well. And he may well start the season now. Their fixtures are a dog. I noticed Steeperman, who's the one I've chatted out a couple of times, is out 4 to 6 weeks.
Ouch.
So they can't be anything more than a watch and
wait for now.
Yeah.
Blades. So I'm sitting on
O'Connell.
No, I've subbed out O'Connell
He's
now.
gone, is
He's
he?
gone. He has. Rob Holding came in for him, but McGoldrick is in at the moment. But I don't know. I think I think Sheffield United have got a very good chance of staying up from the promoted clubs. Maybe because I just like Tomo. I think his podcast was one of the best that we did in the 30 and 30. if you, I'm not just saying that to promote one of our 30 and 30, although you should listen to all of them. But Tomo, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, is a real good Blades fan and gave us a lot of insight
Is
into
it not
their
Tyson
players.
Fury, no?
Oh, the geezer. So Jagielka's gone there. That will help their defence. He's not a bad player.
Yes, I think the only thing with that is I don't know if he would then play as the central one of the three, because I don't think you'd want him to be coming out from the back, perhaps as replacement for Basham on the right hand side. Probably not as comfortable now because of age. But look, experienced defender, was sort of. I mean, he'd filled in for Everton when needed last year and did the job. He certainly played and scored in the home game against Arsenal. So nowhere near past it. Good signing. That's where obviously he originally came from. I don't know. Sheffield United's. I think if I had to buy players from one of the promoted clubs at the moment, it would be theirs. I would say that.
Southampton, they were quite the darling club in the second half of the season after Hassan Hootel sorted their shit out. There was a number of players there that were decent in terms of Redmond, Ward-Prowse, Ings got quite a bit of attention, and a couple of others. Jan Valery was a really good asset. Yet, I haven't touched a single Saints player in my draft at the moment. Have you? They're all a little more expensive.
The first
than they
three
were.
away games were okay. I told you it's the first 2 home games, Liverpool and United, are a little bit off-putting.
Yeah, but Valery is still is 4.5.
Well,
That's not a bad shout.
It's not 5 now, no?
I thought he was 4.5, but I'm happy to be corrected.
I'm going to go and check that.
Redmond's gone up
not
to
on my
6.5,
radar,
right?
Yeah, obviously JWP is a bit of a darling for us. I mean,
They're too expensive.
to be honest, I'm really interested in a new fella. I've got my eye on him. It's Che Adams.
Yeah.
He's powerful. He's got a shot on him. He's relatively quick. He's probably, I would say, of all the new signings at the moment for FPL, he's probably the one that's on my radar the most, I would say.
Interesting.
Really, really like. I've had my eye on him from what he did to us in the League Cup a few years back. Valerie is 5.
5 million. Okay, so it's a bit expensive, to be fair.
Yeah, you're not going near Vestergaard, Valerie Bertrand at 5.0.
No.
I don't think you'd look at them others at 4.5 either. I noticed, by the way, just a quick one, I saw FPL Gaffer, our Saints correspondent, did a draft the other day. And a cheeky bugger, Angus Gunn's in it. Remember he said to us, and I said, I've really got my eye on him, and he put me off, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's fucking in his draft there.
Yeah, I don't think we'll hold it against him. If he does have Angus Gunn in his starting lineup, he owes us a beer. Let's just call it that. Tottenham. On Ndombele is your only new signing so far. But
we bought a player.
But it is a signing, nonetheless.
We did buy
and
Jack
your guy
Clark.
from Leeds, but he's gone again.
He's
so
gone
that's
back,
fine.
yeah. Nobody can quite believe that the second time Levy went to process the funds that the bank didn't fucking give him a courtesy call to say, Mr.
Is
Levy,
this definitely you? Or
suspicious
is it some
activity.
6 million for a holding midfielder is too much, in my opinion. But having that holding midfielder does make some of the other assets more attractive, right? Exactly that. I still quite like your 1 week or 2 week punt on Lucas Moura that we spoke about in episode 1.
Yeah, it's still in my consideration. I just think looking at it, I'd rather Fraser would probably be more of a 2 week punt for me, and it's not a punt because I know his capability.
Yeah, especially if Wilson's
Whereas
still there
Lucas
as well.
Moura would literally be 1 week and you're coming out, and if I've got any other problems, that's problematic. I do still like it as a punt, and I'm not saying I wouldn't go down that route. And Dombele can fit into the side in a number of different ways. Could be as one of the central figures in a 4-3-3, which is how I suspect Pochettino wants to evolve to. It could be alongside Winks in a 4-2-3-1, which is how I would prefer us to play. You're more right in terms of the beneficial of, I think, what's going to happen for both defensively and offensively for Spurs because of how quickly he can change the game on the counter-attack with his driving runs.
Yeah.
And he's very quick at the way he gets the ball out into people's feet. Obviously, defensively, I think concentration, if I was to pick out a weakness of what I've seen of him, concentration-wise might be where he's lacking a little bit. But he's 22 and he'll get coached very well. It definitely opens up the prospect of Spurs defensively if you want to go in at that 5.5 area. People like, obviously, Vertonghen. Honestly, keep your eye on Serge Aurier because my understanding is that Trippier will go to
Danny Rose?
He's more in competition with Ben Davies, although Ben Davies had a hernia op, so might not make the start.
I feel like Danny Rose is potentially a great 5.5 option.
Potentially, but if you knew Aurier is going to be the first choice at 5...
You'd prefer him?
Yeah, I would.
Quite
that's where my advice would be to go. It's not just with Dombele, you've got to be careful with these things. So 2 other options I'd throw up. Kante potentially playing deeper for Chelsea this year. Yeah. Can have a real big impact for them defensively. And just a cautious one, that's flip side, we talk about people still at the AFCON. Obviously the Manes and Zahas, etc. will be the headliners. Idrissa Gueye is still there. And Everton are not the same side without him.
No, that's
so
true.
he might miss the opening weeks. And for those considering Dean, Coleman, etc., Pickford, you might want to just think about that a little bit.
Few more clubs to get through. Watford, Craig Dawson's coming at 5 million. We've got an article on the website written by Stephen Toomey at Sixth Goal about Dawson, a player profile. So if you want a little bit more in-depth kind of understanding on Dawson, definitely head over to planetfpl.com. So that you can have a look at that. He's coming at 5 million.
Potentially solve the problem. I want to highlight a brilliant stat that I'd even ask Serge, who tweeted this stat out?
Ben Krellin.
Oh, you fucking idiot!
I don't know what the stat is.
Well, it's just a stat.
Canal?
Yeah, of course, mate.
Okay, there we go. I didn't know what the stat was. A stat about who?
I can't find the tweet now.
Oh, okay.
But
Give me the rough
it's
gist.
about Delafeu.
Yes.
So Delafeu's average points per game last year against teams called Cardiff and Huddersfield was about 20 points per game. And without it was about 3 points per game.
I'm not looking at Delafeu or Watford. Whilst they've got good players, they sit in that Southampton category for me. There's no one that really stands out that I particularly want at the moment.
Having said that about Delafeu, they start with Brighton, right? And actually 3 of their 4 are a little appealing. I wouldn't rule Delafeu out of my thoughts at the moment, even in spite of that.
There's just a lot of available players at the moment. So
yeah, I think I would be looking elsewhere. Dawson will definitely help them defensively because experienced. So him and Cathcart actually is probably an okay partnership.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The mighty West Ham. We've only picked up Pablo Fornals for now. We are shopping around. You can always tell when we're in the market for players. But I think a big news being Arnie's gone now, finally. And it ended up being such a stupid, piss poor deal in terms of 22.5 million or whatever it is. But I'll take it.
22 million.
Yeah.
You know you could have sold him for about 50 in January, didn't you?
Well, the thing is, I don't know whether it ended up being our choice to keep him or we could have, should have let him go. It was a bit of a funny one, really. But I suppose you can't legislate for someone turning around saying, I want to stay.
I've been very vocal in saying, get him out.
Yeah. I mean, he did talk the talk. I want to stay and help the club and all the rest of it. But you sometimes can't take players on their word, really, can you? Because they're big bullshitters.
You've got a new number 9 now.
Pablo Fornals.
Oh, he doesn't even know, does he?
Oh,
got a new number 9.
Who's our number 9? I haven't checked, to be honest.
Chicharito.
He's not for me.
And you got a new number 7. Yarmolenko.
Well, Yarmolenko is an interesting one to have a look at because he was doing well before the start of the season, but the only new signing that's come in is obviously Fornals at 6.5. Had a decent under-21s with Spain and comes with good reports, but not very good stats in his previous season. So if I was going to waste one of my 15 squad places on a completely random punt, he would be it, partly because he's he's plays for my club. 6.5, maybe.
I want to come on to my Chicharito opinion now.
Do it.
So obviously he's been given a new squad number 9, and people get way excited about that. Like the same happened a couple of weeks ago with Jesus was given number 9 at City. Does that mean he's going to fucking play more now? It doesn't mean shit.
No,
squad numbers don't
nothing.
mean diddly squat these days.
Nothing.
It's no big deal. All it does say to us, I think, is that Chicharito is going to stay. So in the article that Chris wrote for us last week that we put on the website yesterday, he was doing it on the assumption that Chicharito was probably going to go.
Sure.
Now it looks like he's definitely going to stay. Pellegrini said he doesn't want to overhaul, this is my understanding, doesn't want to overhaul all of the forward players this season.
Yeah.
Which you might take that Fornals is going to play a bit higher, possibly in a Lanzini role, maybe, or a wide area. I don't know. But the one that it struck for me, now West Ham are still being linked with, I understand, talks broke down with Gomez from
he's moving to
Celta
Valencia
Vigo
now.
because he doesn't want to fucking join you.
He's moving to Valencia. And to be honest, I would rather support Valencia and have a season ticket at Valencia because I'll be living on the beach rather than East London. So, yeah, I'm taking Valencia. Go Valencia. Gomez is fine.
I bet Valencia ain't got a shopping centre like yours.
I don't even know if they've got shops, but go on. And then
you've also been linked with Sebastian Haller.
Yes.
From Frankfurt. I understand a £40 million bid from a source that I quite trust on Twitter claims that to be true. I understand the player has no want to go to West Ham at all. I've heard links with Balotelli.
Oh, yeah, I read about that, and I'd love that. I would love it if Balotelli played for us.
Higuain.
Yeah.
And a new contract for Andy Carroll.
Yeah.
More the point is, there is a possibility because West Ham go very scattergun like this, I think. It's like Gomez, I think, was the target, right?
He was.
It's like, we're not getting him, so we'll go for him. It always feels very scattergun with you. There is a chance you start the season with none and Chicharito starts as your number 9. Is he then, for you, an option?
No. I would then...
Go on, say it. Please say it.
Go with Antonio. Is there a bingo running? Or
yeah,
whatever?
Absolutely is. I think West Ham...
You thought I was going to say that?
I was hoping you was going to say that because that's my exact opinion.
Because he can play right up front.
I think...
He can play up front.
Particularly if you think opening day Man City.
Yeah.
Just leave him up front. He's done that. A few of your managers have done that. In big games over the years, played Antonio.
Well, holding the ball up and
I looked into Antonio's numbers per 90 last season. Over 5 per game in FPL.
He's one of my favourite players because I admire his dancing.
Now he is only an option if you do not buy
another striker. I mean, it's 7 million for a midfielder when there's a lot of options available in midfielder. Yes, but if he's playing up front, then he's definitely a decent out of position. And he can find the back of the net, guy can.
He doesn't need to have the finesse because, with respect, if you've got Anderson, Fornals, Lanzini, a fit Yarmolenko again, there's enough technically there that can support it.
100%.
I agree. Yeah. And there's a rotation. I mean, probably of those 4 I mentioned, only 3 would play, I would imagine.
And there's others as well. Snodgrass is decent with left.
But I would see Antonio, if you don't buy it, playing up front first game of the season.
I agree with you. 100% agree with you.
And
I
on
would
his numbers,
love that as well.
On his numbers, although we've joked about him, and we towards the end of last season we said, watch him for next year maybe. And as the prices come round, we kind of been, forget that. But actually, if you don't buy, I think that'll come back round.
He's only really $500,000 more than an almost automatic pick for me. 6, I would have him. 6.5, I'd think really strong and hard. 7 is what's pushing him out. So $500,000 out. He's not massively overpriced in my opinion, compared to where he could be.
If you don't buy, I think I'll start with
him. Please, Gold and Sullivan, don't buy.
I think I'd take a punt. I just think, even if it didn't work straight away, I think he'd oust Chicharito.
I'd rather have Antonio up front than Chicharito. I think he gives us more options than Chicharito does. Let's talk about Wolves, last club on the list.
Jimenez obviously won the Gold Cup with Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he was out there. Pulisic with America is another. Obviously went very deep into the tournament. I know Jimenez is definitely not going to be going on Wolves' tour to Asia.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect him to. The link with Diego Costa is very interesting. I wouldn't, as I said, I wouldn't see him getting in ahead of Jimenez or Jota, personally.
I mean, he is getting on a bit, that's why. But if he did start playing consistently, I mean, there's so many ifs and buts and price and all the rest of it. I don't even know if it's worth worrying about Diego Costa.
I think at the moment I'm going to stay off Wolves.
I am not going near Wolves, other than Dendonka, because Dendonka's the best 4.5 million price.
Yes,
midfielder.
agreed.
But
100%.
apart from that, I'm not anyone in the Europa League. I'm not. I'm trying to avoid at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad strategy to. If you're going to plan for the first 4 game weeks, other than Wolves, you don't need to be conscious of that with Arsenal and United.
No.
I mean, one of the problems, say, with Aubameyang, Lacazette further down the line is they have a brilliant run of fixtures between game weeks 5 and 16. So when the fucking Europa League starts again, you're like, oh, Jesus, what's he going to do? Is he going to play one in the other if he just wants to play one up front? Which Arsenal shouldn't be playing either in the Europa League. They should be able to navigate a Europa League group without having to use these guys.
Yeah.
But that's potentially problematic. It is an issue for Wolves in the opening weeks. Unless, obviously, they go out to... I think the team they draw in the group, I looked for them, they've got about 300 followers.
Oh, really?
I'm not joking.
The Twitter account has.
Yeah, I've got about 300 followers.
They'll
not
probably
lying.
be going through at that point. Yeah. So interesting. That's a roundup of kind of activity that's been happening and where a lot of the clubs are. So that leads you to your draft. Where are you on your draft in terms of who is in it? And
Do you want the right now or do you want the big at the back one?
right now, we'll talk about big at the back after because I'll go through my team as well.
Right now, I am...
Who's in goal for you?
Leno still at the moment.
And Button's a placeholder?
Less happy about it with the Koscielny news this morning. And yeah, that 4.0 could be anyone.
Yeah, I've got Button at the moment, but I've gone Edison. I've gone big with the keeper.
I am at the moment 3 at the back, 2 4.0s, Kelly, Gibson, which is not the sort of thing I normally want to be doing. But actually, with these 3, I don't think I need to think about it. My back 3 is Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, and Robertson, otherwise known to the community as VAR.
I've gone with 2 of yours, Van Dijk and Trent. But then I have a City defender in Mendy at the moment that I don't see sticking around. I think I'll probably possibly even be looking to try and get either Laporte or Dean or someone in there. I've got 2 4.5s at the back. Possibly it might be a bit of a waste of money, but I've got Diop at the moment and I've got Holding. Holding if he starts
really
playing.
like both. I like them.
Yeah, Holding if he starts playing is a real option, and Diop I think is also a real option, especially for our home fixtures. Apart from the opening day,
My opinion would be Holding, obviously fitness dependent. Those are the 2 best 4.5 defenders.
Fair play. I'll take that. The only thing is, I may want to play. I'm set up for a 3-4-3 at the moment, as are you. If I decide I want to go to a 4-4-2, then I will want to upgrade.
I think it depends what your 3 is. I mean, I'm looking at it from the point of view going, even from the rest of my team, they're all solid picks for those opening 4 game weeks. I don't think I'd have to worry about rotation.
No.
Unless, I mean, I've got Calvert-Lewin at the moment. If Everton buy Costa, for example, I'll be taking him out anyway. So I would look differently. But I'd take on it and go, those 3 Liverpool defensively, they ain't never going to be rotated, in my opinion. Unless they have to be.
Yeah.
Can't see it.
Your midfield, we both share the Dendonka.
Yeah,
Your
definitely.
remaining 4 are completely different to my 4.
Yeah.
Tell me who you got.
Well, I've not done a draft yet without Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Fraser's back in for Lucas at the moment. Tielemans is sitting in there. I'm very unconvinced about it, if I'm honest, as 6.5. But I like the funds are better spread now. De Bruyne 9.5, Fraser 7.5, Tielemans 6.5, and Sigurdsson at 8.
Okay. I'm so your premium is really Kevin De Bruyne
Yes.
at 9.5.
Yes.
I've got Mo Salah at the moment as my real premium. I've got Bernardo Silva in the squad at the moment as well. You used to have Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, as I said to you, when we did the last recording, I said I had Bernardo and Sigurdsson sitting in there together. I think it would probably be a choice of one. And my
I
instinct
feel
was
like
to
I'd
go
rather have
Sigurdsson.
Sigurdsson than Bernardo as well, but I did take on board what you were saying about not enough top 6 coverage, but I feel like maybe that's going to change.
Well, the other thing with City now, the more I think about it and go, West Ham away, Tottenham at home. Do I need to steam in for the first 2?
Probably
Or
not.
can I sit back and watch?
They've spanked us consistently at our place last 2 seasons, yeah. 4-0s.
If you look at, to sort of elaborate on that point with City, are you going to be captaining Aguero, Sterling in those 2 games?
If I go with Sterling, probably at home to away at West Ham, I would probably consider it.
What, above the Liverpool guys?
Yeah, so I wouldn't have... If I have Sterling, I won't have Salah. It's an A or B choice
Okay.
there, so...
So ultimate confidence in West Ham as per usual.
Yeah, not against City. Are you confident for Tottenham against City, mate?
Was it the last 3 at Stratford have been 5-0, 4-0, 4-0,
5-0,
4-1,
4-0, 4-0. Or was it 4-1
It was
last game?
4-1, I think.
Yeah, well, every game's 4 or more. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Having said that, look, because there was the season where we started particularly well. We did beat United and Chelsea and Arsenal and stuff at home. If we want to turn up, we can turn up. It's an early kickoff. But, come on, City. I believe City will score more than 100 goals again, very easily. And as a result, if you don't pick an attacking asset from a club that's going to score that many goals, then you don't know what you're doing. It's madness not to. KDB is so well priced at 9.5, but Raheem Sterling, I think, at 12.
Yeah, it's fine.
is
I
the most
can't
interesting.
argue it.
But at the moment, I'm sitting on
I
Salah.
would like to have fucking both, wouldn't
Yeah.
I?
I've got Salah, Zaha, Ayoze Perez, and Bernardo Silva. I'd probably say Zaha is the only one out of those 4 that I'm confident in for the start of the season. The rest could easily change.
That's interesting because, as I've said, I'm very concerned about Zaha game week 1.
Yeah, possibly game week 1, you are right. Depends when he comes back and all the rest of it. But Palace are a club that can't afford to not have their star
No,
player.
as I said, I think if he moved, he would
Then
be
he'd be-
more likely to miss game week 1.
For
I
sure.
agree.
Who have you got up front?
Harry's in at the moment. Calvert-Lewin, as I've said, and Lacazette.
Okay, so you've got 2 big strikers there in Lacazette and Harry
I
Kane.
really like Lacazette in there because it solves the game week 2 problem for me. And actually, I think were Aubameyang to go, say they did buy Zaha and Aubameyang went, I think Lacazette becomes really, really
If
attractive.
Aubameyang goes, I'll be buying Lacazette. So I'm with you on that.
It also allows that 9.5 that I said earlier to move to Vardy after those first 2 if you want
there
to.
are options.
Yeah.
There are options. I'm sitting on Harry Kane as well. I really think Harry Kane's going to tear it up. I'm surprised how much of a debate there is around Harry Kane. Last year, if he was fit the entire season, he would have won the Golden Boot. He scored 17 goals. He's only 5 goals behind the Golden Boot in 22 goals.
Pissed it, yeah.
Yeah. 2 seasons before that, how many goals did he score?
Oh,
29 and
28 and a half.
No, 29 and 29.
28 and a half.
And the year before that, 25. So each of his goal tallies in the previous 3 years would have won the Golden Boot last year. And he's dropped to 11 million.
Are you speaking or am I speaking?
I'm just saying that I'm just convinced that Harry Kane, you need Harry Kane.
Like well, a lot of people feel differently.
I know.
And it's completely
I'm just
understandable.
confused.
If you take, again, it's a captaincy thing partly as well. If you're going to get Salah, which the majority of people will do, and it's completely understandable, and he's a great price at 12.5, by the way, you're going to captain him against Norwich, and in game week 3, even at home to Arsenal, you're probably going to captain him. You might captain him at Southampton game week 2. You might captain him at, I think it's Burnley game week 4, and then they're at home game week 5, you'd captain him again. So you could quite conceivably with Salah, captain him in the first 5 game weeks. You ain't getting Kane as well. So Spurs home games match with Liverpool's home games. You ain't going to not captain Salah in a home game.
Yeah, we'll see. That's why I'm happy to go from
That's
Salah
why
to
I've
Sterling.
always put those 2 in the bracket together, Kane or Salah.
I think you can have both, and
Of
both
course
are in
you
my
can,
draft right
but
now.
it's, in my opinion, it's a waste if you have both.
It's a captaincy headache. I do
Yeah.
understand that. But on paper, I mean, Harry Kane being the most likely to be the Golden Boot winner next season and being only the 5th or 6th highest priced player in the game is crazy.
Kane and De Bruyne will be what I see in pre-season. So if I decide I don't want Kane or De Bruyne, it's going to look completely different.
Yeah, for sure. I've also gone with Josh King. I think 6.5 for him is great.
You won't be alone, mate.
If Wilson leaves, then I think a lot of people will jump in on Josh King. And then I've got McGoldrick at the moment, mainly based on he's the best low budget, really. And he's the best of the best that I can afford at that value. And I think what Tomo said, I like the fact that he can either play up front or as a number 10. So he will play, basically. I need someone who is going to play. So end up with that as my front three.
I think we did mention about Sheffield United. Obviously, Luke Freeman's gone there.
Right.
5.5. When Tomo was talking about the problem with Duffy, won't have regular minutes in there.
Yeah.
Freeman will probably pick up that position. He's one to watch, actually.
Yeah, for sure. That's my draft.
Nice. It's not that bad. How many Liverpool players you got?
3.
They are, just remind me.
Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk and Salah at the moment. But I will start the season with 3 Liverpool and 3
So you've
City.
got Salah.
TAA.
Oh, you haven't got Sterling?
I haven't at the moment.
No. You want Sterling, don't you?
I want Sterling, which means I'll have to sacrifice Salah. If I sacrifice Salah, then I'll go triple Liverpool at the back, and then this is all going to get torn up a little bit.
It's not that bad.
I may even go Alisson.
I think Alisson's a waste. I really do.
I do
think
as
it's
well.
unlike the thing with City. With City, you can just go Edison and forget it.
Yeah.
I think Alisson's a waste. Just go to Van Dijk or TA. Whereas with City, I think Laporte will play less this season. As long as they buy an Aki or someone. I can see him dipping, like, for example, game weeks 4 and 6. I think they play Norwich and Watford and Brighton at home. If they were to get Aki, I could see him playing Aki in them 2 games, for example. And suddenly you're missing Laporte in the games you wanted him most.
It's why,
I'd be a bit concerned about that.
It's potentially why people are saying that Kyle Walker is the best City defensive option because he's the most consistent, reliable for minutes, and he's £6 million, same as Mendy. He doesn't get the attacking returns, does Kyle Walker.
It's
Reliability, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's safer at the moment. Been linked with the name, escapes me, Cancelo, is it? Fellow at Juventus.
Yeah.
They've been linked with, and he would probably come in as an understudy, but there's a significant gap between Walker and Danilo at the moment. In FPL Pringle's thread, he also spoke about how whether it's Zinchenko or an other picked at left back, he's quite often dependent on if he wants to play inside fullbacks or outside fullbacks. So, for example, Zinchenko is quite comfortable tucking in. He historically played in midfield as a youngster, whereas Mendy will hug the touchline.
Yeah.
Walker can play both roles. He can play as the inside. We've seen him play insides or as on the outside of a back three for England. He can play that inside full-back position, and obviously because of his speed, he's happy going on the outside as well. So it's less of a problem. I think if I was to go Walker or Laporte at the start, I would probably go with Walker, actually. Take a chance.
Yeah. Talk to me about big at the back. You put together a 5-2-3. I didn't even know you could play that formation.
You can, and I stumbled across it because I wanted to look, and I really liked it. So the difference between my current team now, essentially, is you're bringing in Walker and Laporte, for Fraser and Tielemans.
Yeah,
is essentially the difference. And it's 5-2-3 instead of 3-4-3. Now, so if I say that to you, Walker and Laporte, or Fraser and Tielemans.
It's a very good question. I would probably just go Walker and Laporte over Fraser and Tielemans. Fraser's the question mark there. I definitely would prefer the defenders over Tielemans, but I wouldn't necessarily prefer the defenders over Fraser.
When you put it like that,
yeah.
If I ask myself that as a direct question, Walker and Laporte or Fraser and Tielemans, I think it's very, very close. I, like you, would probably edge towards the two Man City defenders. So with that in mind, why not consider 5-2-3 rather than 3-4-3?
Look, big at the back is really, really creeping up on everyone at the moment. Couldn't agree with you more.
The biggest issue that I find with that formation is you are going to have... I mean, actually, in that team I've got there, I've got 3 4.5s on the bench. I mean, who the other two in, as with Dendonka's immaterial, I put Stevens and Chowdhury there just for the time being.
Yeah.
It actually leaves me 0.5 spare, so it's actually a little bit more money in the bank than the 3-4-3 as well. But that's the biggest problem, is having 4.5 million midfielders in there. That is, for me, the biggest negative of that formation.
Yeah, doesn't give you anywhere to go.
What you can do with that, for example, to change it is go, well, I'll scrap one of them 4.5s and I'll bring Tielemans in. you could go Calvert-Lewin to Wickham. I've got 0.5 spare here, yeah?
Yeah.
And then one of the 4.5s goes to Tielemans and becomes 5-3-2 with De Bruyne, Tielemans, Sigurdsson, Lacazette and Kane up front. And that back five, the thing I feel about the back five, I know a lot of people, I get it, are going to be watching or listening and screaming Lucas Dean. That's fine. I've already said I've decided I'm going to take a different approach to other people. Go big or don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I agree with you on that.
If you're going to go 5 at the back, don't start, I want a bit of Chelsea. I want a bit. I think Dean's fine.
Yeah.
I think
maybe one of the Spurs assets at 5.5.
Nah.
That's about it.
No, I genuinely think if you are going to go 5 at the back, it's Liverpool and City and Dean.
Yeah.
Don't consider anybody else.
Yeah.
Because you have gone that way, in my opinion, to seek out the value in other positions. Go with these best guys at the back. And Lucas Dean has every right to be in that conversation. I would not put the Spurs guys in that conversation. The only other one I would possibly consider, I think, is David Luiz. It's the only other
6
one.
million though this year.
It's the only other one. But
it's
I think
too expensive.
it's an argument. It's an argument. If you think
Debate
about
to be had,
what I said about Kante, and it might have an impact for them defensively. If Zuma stays, it's a better backup for Rudiger. And then Luiz competing against Christensen probably feels quite safe.
Sure.
So I think it's probably Dean and Luiz and the Liverpool City guys, if you're going 5 at the back. I would not be getting clever and going, I'll start playing Holding there at 4.5. Don't do that shit. Holding is great for a 3 at the back or a 4 at the back, 4.5, but I disagree strongly at 5 in the back. You're going that way to eke out the value of the top guys. And their pricing points, when you compare them at midfielders and forwards at the same price, it's unquestionable. It's almost unavoidable. It's the structure of the team that's the biggest issue of going that way for me.
Yeah, that's true. We've got to get into some Twitter questions, James.
Yeah, man.
We've been talking for an hour and 5 minutes and we haven't touched these Twitter questions.
Yeah, buddy.
So we've had more than we've ever had before.
Is that real?
People haven't got any actual football to watch. That's why 65 comments on this. And we might get through about 10 of these questions. So we might need to...
pick out some good ones that we haven't covered then.
Yeah. Should we create a bonus podcast?
Really?
Yeah. I'm just thinking we can put it on a secret channel and stream it and share it and get people
Secret channel?
Yeah, I'm just thinking we can get people to pay for the questions to be answered. I'm monetization, James. I'm on it. Nah, we can't do that now. And we need to answer these questions.
I can already feel in the thread later. Oh, here's a podcast. Someone listens to it. Great podcast. You ever thought about fucking Patreon? I can already see it.
Yeah. We like Patreon, but we just think Patreon's spelt wrong. They put an E in unnecessarily. So
Yeah, Patreon.
Forget that shit. Right. We're ready for these. I'm going to try and make them as quick as possible so we can get through as many as possible.
Go on then. Go on.
Snap. FPL DC. FPL DC 82. What's Manchild's team's essential player this season? Manchild literally just opened the door on YouTube, right? So this is a real life conversation.
Ashley Westwood or Ndota?
No, wait. This is from a week ago. Looking down, the game opens. He registers into the system. Oh look, there's a keeper called Keeper. I'm having him. It's pronounced Kepa, but there's nothing wrong with having a keeper called Keeper. So that is.
Some would argue that Kepa is a manager, by the way.
He's not going to get that.
No, he won't.
No.
That's
So
completely lost.
Manchild's essential player of the season is Keeper? Or is there an other?
To be confirmed.
To be confirmed.
Ashley Westwood, surely.
Nah, we see.
Might be
He's 5.5 this year, though, right?
out of what?
Exactly. It's not out of 10. It's 5.5 is his price, you idiot.
Oh.
Yeah. M. Bison Mark, he really wants to know how many times will Harry Kane's ankles go next season? You
None.
mentioned that the off season's going to do him the world of good. He's finally had a bit of a break after so long. Last year was his first real injury-prone season. Let's be honest.
Mark has an agenda against Harry Kane. It's fine.
Okay.
I've said if Kane doesn't look fit in pre-season, he won't be in my squad. It's fine. I'll keep you all informed.
Yeah. Toast FPL Toast. Can KDB and the saving match Raheem Sterling? Statistically, Raheem Sterling was in 35 goal involvements last year. It's basically a return a week, right?
Yeah. So another question, right? So would you rather have Sterling and Tielemans or De Bruyne and
Option B.
already?
Yeah. Yeah. But this is my
Even though
problem.
maybe it's better
Historically,
it is.
my managerial style is always just try and spread the funds as evenly as possible. And I don't know if that's necessarily the right idea. Like you're talking about big at the back, go big or go home. I feel like scrimping on the premium players, like taking Bernardo instead of KDB or KDB ahead of Sterling, I don't like it to spread the funds. I think it's a case
Isn't
of
that what you're talking about though?
Well,
Or is De Bruyne?
that was my gut instinct reaction.
Is
And
De Bruyne
actually thinking about it, it's
is-
probably a dumb idea.
Is De Bruyne a unique case?
Okay, let's look at it from a different lens, right? The guy that won FPL last year, and I don't know anyone winning it is a real long shot. He averaged 70 points a week, right? Take out 25 points a week because of appearance points you get, give or take a couple of points. But for the sake of easy maths, so week in, week out, 22 plus captain, 24. So that's why I round up to 25. All right. 45 points, 46 points per game week came from returns, right? Average return 4 points. That's 10. It's 11 of your players getting a return. Week in, week out for 38 game weeks. So I'm looking for consistency massively. And 35 goal returns in 38 game weeks, Raheem, for me, is like, there you're at. Just that concept of every one of my players returning once every week for 38 game weeks to be able to win this game blew my mind. I was like, oh shit, this is a bit hard.
In theory,
of course.
if your 11 players score 6 points every week, you will win FPL.
Correct.
You will average 72 points with captain
Yeah.
every week. In theory, that should fucking win it.
But it was 70 that won it last year. He wasn't far off that, was he? 69 point something was his average week.
No.
Score.
No.
It's mental.
You're going to have peaks and troughs. I mean, look, good example, right?
Yeah.
So I'd be very careful with averaging this year. This depends a lot on your strategy. So if you take me, who at the moment my defence is blanket treble Liverpool,
Yeah.
what my expectations on an average per week is going to vary depending on whether Liverpool do or do not keep a clean sheet.
Okay.
So I would look at it now and go, okay, let's say I want to target, let's say 65 points. Honestly, is a very, very good fucking target, right? That's tough.
Massive, yeah.
Right? So I would look at it and go, quite possibly, weeks with no Liverpool clean sheet, target 50, I'd probably be happy with if they didn't. But then weeks that they do, I'm probably targeting 80.
Yeah. Weeks with chips, you want to be 100 plus.
And just accept if you go down that treble defensive Liverpool route, which, by the way, I think I'm the only fucking dickhead at the moment. That's just...
You won't be at the start of the season, though.
I'm not going to level out at an average like 65 because every time Liverpool concede a goal, I'm down, right?
Yeah.
But I know that every time they keep a clean sheet between the three of them, they're going to get me at least 20.
Yeah.
I would say. We're not talking 6 each year.
Yeah.
That's going to be... One of these guys is going to hit me bonuses
Going
or
big at the
attacking
back in
returns or
terms of
something.
having 5. There were 18 clean sheets for City or 19, or was it 20 in the end, I think?
Liverpool get 21,
21.
I think.
So that's basically you're getting 2 or 3 clean sheets every week.
My take on Liverpool defence for next year is they're probably very unlikely to get to 21 again. I think if Van Dijk got a serious injury, I think they'd struggle to make 14, to be honest with you. That's how good I think he is. And I think he's key. If Van Dijk gets injured, I'd be very worried about all of it.
Yeah.
Because he just holds it all together. Will the three of them get to the same points that they got last year? I think Alexander-Arnold could exceed it. I think the other two are very unlikely to get close. But even if they got to 75% of what they did last year, they would still be amazing value. That's the point.
We've got a few other questions in here that we have kind of sort of answered, so we won't spend any time on them. But Koen Karam in Amsterdam, discussion for you both. And actually, Koen, I'm coming back to Amsterdam in a few weeks. I'll hit you up on DM. Sterling or KDB, and why? And I suppose the answer is if you're saving that 2.5 million, what you're doing with it. You can't answer that question without knowing where's the rest of that money going, really, can you?
Well, if I don't start with Kane, there's every chance I'll start with Sterling and KDB,
Yeah, Raheem.
for example. So,
Amber Redmond, what subject do you think divides opinion most in the FPL community?
Opinion itself.
Well,
Opinion itself. My favourite. Who was
Chips has got to be up there as one of them, right?
I tell you, I was DMing with Paul Skyplayer, who did a brilliant podcast with the surgery, which is well worth listen on breaking down his FPL results from last year. Really good. And he was asking me about how we deal with the number of questions you get sometimes, and for others with far bigger accounts than us, I'm sure it's even worse.
Yeah.
I told him the mute button is quite a good one. My favourite is when people ask your opinion and you give it back, and then they argue with that.
Yeah. I wasn't opening a debate. It was just you can have it for free, and that's that. I think Chips is up there.
All favourite. Chips will always be a
BPS
big
would always
debate.
be up there.
I think. Look, we give our opinion, right? Take it or leave it. We always say that. If you want to win FPL, probably don't listen to us for anything other than the bants. You might find something that opens your mind. But no opinion right now is wrong.
Yeah.
Keep hearing that. You know, if you believe in yourself, Aguero, Kane, and Aubameyang are going to score 70 fucking goals next season. They're going to be fit every week, and you've got a nice captaincy rotation with the three of them. Then by all means, hit it up. Go for it.
True.
There is no right and wrong. Play it your way. That's the big one. People say, "Oh, you can't do that." You fucking can. You can do what you like.
True. FPL tips. You ready for this?
Although I do say it to Stitch all the time. Please don't do that.
FPL tips. You ready for this?
Yeah, go on.
What is your favourite? See, basically, I ignored the last 20 seconds of what you said because I was thinking about my answer to this question. What is
You
your
got mugged off
favourite?
again.
What is your favourite toast topping?
Beans.
Beans on toast.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. You know,
I've done you there, haven't I?
Yeah, sorry?
I've done you there, haven't I?
No, I was just trying to come up with a good farting related joke or pun or comeback or whatever. But I'm on Nutella, mate. I love Nutella on toast.
Okay.
Nutella's pretty decent. And then at the Blue City, he also wants to know, do you prefer toasted or non-toasted sandwiches?
It depends what it is.
Yeah, toasted cheese, you can't go wrong.
But normally toasted.
I don't mind toasted, but if you've got freshly baked bread,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
the
true.
thick kind of
It
cut
does. It
bread,
does depend.
that can't be
You
toasted.
go in the kitchen, you have that moment, didn't
Yeah,
you know?
man.
Oh yeah, got fresh bread this morning, love. Or you look at it and there's about 3 slices left.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
know
been
where
there for a week, and you
where
think,
you live,
oh fuck it, I'll toast that.
not far from where you are, there's that Holt White's.
Who's there?
Holt White's Bakery. Trust me, pick up a loaf of bread from there. You'll
All
be
right,
loving
noted.
it. Right, okay. FPL Lewis. I think it's coming in from New Zealand because it's got a New Zealand flag.
He's down that way. He works with.
Is it Aussie flag?
He works with Take the Hit.
Oh, fair play. Hello, Lewis. How you doing? Would you prefer to have finger-sized toes or toe-sized fingers? What the fuck are you going to do with toe-sized fingers?
Oh, I don't know. If you had a big toe for a thumb, you could.
What the fuck are you going to do? I've been blessed my life with reasonably big hands, actually. to be
I got
fair.
little hands.
So I don't know. No, I'm quite valuable. But finger-sized toes, you could do, like, you could fucking climb shit and stuff. So I'm all for finger-sized toes, mate. You see though the monkeys and the animals that have big long toes that can grip onto stuff.
I'll go with feet for hands. I think.
Yeah.
I'll never get done over by VAR that way, will I?
No, that's true. That's true. Question for James. This is coming in from FPL Crate Digger, and this is going to be the last question, but we're going to have some time on Twitter replying to a lot of these. Question for James, and then there's a question for me, and then we've got to inform people about something.
Okay.
You can only have one. Spurs win the Premier League, or you win FPL. I know the answer to that. That's not difficult. Yeah.
I'd take fourth in the league now, over fucking winning FPL.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
That's not a question for me.
Yeah. Question for me. West Ham qualify for the Europa League, or you finish above James in FPL, which is slightly more of a dilemma.
Well, neither are likely, in fairness.
You'll see this season. I mean, this is a season that my FPL team is going to come and slap you one. I'm ready for it. This is an interesting one. I would take West Ham in the Europa League, I think. But I'd like us to get into none of that qualifying shit. We're talking about Europa League.
You'd go out to
proper.
the fucking Icelandic team with 300
I'd
followers.
go somewhere. That's what I'm thinking about. A nice little away day. I can take my boys away, leave my missus at home, and go to an away game somewhere random where it's just a bit weird. So I'd take the Europa League as well. As much as FPL is so a big part of our lives, I think watching our teams is where it's at. I'm going to West Ham Fulham on the 27th. You go. What's your first pre-season that you're going to?
We've only playing the one in England, Inter, on the 4th.
Yeah, that's right, because that's the day of the Charity Shield.
It
isn't
is, yeah. I'm going with FPL Chancellors come with me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to Fulham, but I can't go to. I think we've got Betis or Sociedad coming, but I can't go to that because I'm away.
Is that the one they bigged
The
it up?
Betway Cup or something.
Yeah, the big European night.
Yeah. We're winning a European trophy. So let's see. Now, we're going to wrap up the show with an announcement.
Dun, dun, dun.
We couldn't do Planet FPL live on the day of the Charity Shield because you are going to the Inter Milan game.
Because it's a Sunday and a pub will be shut.
The pub's open. They're open for us.
It don't happen Sundays.
They know who I am, trust me. We couldn't do the 10th of August because both your team and my team are playing at home, televised games in the open day.
That would have been the ideal, yeah.
We couldn't do the 18th of August because I'm away.
Do you mean the 17th?
Well, whichever day it is on that weekend.
Yeah.
But we can do the 24th of August for Planet FPL Live 2. And we're going to.
Yeah, we've got a plan. I'm gonna say now, it's not gonna be like the last one.
Definitely not.
Not because there was anything wrong with the last one, by the way. We just want to do something very different. So we'll be there early doors again. Norwich and Chelsea is the 12:30 kickoff.
Yep.
Come down and watch it with me while Suj is setting up the mics and shit.
Yep.
And then after that's finished, we're gonna do a podcast, which is gonna kind of be during the 3 p.m. kickoffs.
Exactly.
Reacting live to whatever's happening. Essentially, we'll be on stage as your Twitter account for the Saturday afternoon.
Exactly.
And we just think it'll be banter and good fun.
I think we'll have Jeff on the old TV screens. Maybe the sound will be off. But
that's
we'll have
exactly
Jeff, so we'll see the
we'll
goals
do.
coming through in the feed. That'll be, give or take. The thing with the Norwich-Chelsea game, obviously any normal year, you'd think that they'd be wrapped up by kind of 2:30, but with VAR and all the other
You might finish at 3 o'clock.
3, so there might be a quick turnaround. But let's assume they get done by 2:30. We'll have a bit of a turnaround. 3 o'clock when the games kick off, we'll start the show. Maybe 5 minutes before, all the way through to 4:45, and then there's a decent 5:30 game that day, mate.
Liverpool Arsenal, yeah.
Liverpool
so I'm
Gooners.
not expecting any Gooners to turn up.
I think they will.
You did me a right touch because you being unavailable the week before, we were looking at doing the week before. And I was thinking, I bet City Spurs is the 5:30.
It
fucking
is as well.
And I would have done it.
You'd rather watch it rather than be drunk and have it in the background.
I would have done it, and I would have just gone into it knowing that I was going to get fucking bitch slapped anyway.
Yeah.
So, Gooners, don't be frightened. Come, watch it.
Yep, exactly. So what could be
You
better?
never know.
The good thing is it's bank holiday weekend that weekend.
That's true as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. So if you haven't got anything else planned,
Because the
you
first
wanna
thing
travel
she
down-
said to me, she said, yeah, but I see Spurs are at home on Sunday as well. You leave me all fucking weekend as well.
So, no,
I was like,
darling.
No,
Monday.
darling. You can have Monday.
Saturday, the 24th of August. Doors will open at 12:30. Well, doors will open at 12. The first kickoff is 12:30. Come and enjoy. Have a drink. Relax. 3 till 4:45. We'll be live on stage with a little break for half time in between there as well. Talking about FPL points as they come on with the matches live. And then we'll be wrapping up, grab some food, and watch the 5:30 game, same as last time. It's going to be pretty
The biggest
special.
thing is as well, yeah, look, come down, do the pod. I feel everybody who came the first time loved it and enjoyed it.
Correct.
This is going to be something different again. It's probably going to be more us, I would say.
Yeah, let's guess.
We
We
had
just don't have
guests
the
last
time.
time and it was very planned. This is going to be very reactive to whatever's happening on the day. So it should be interesting. The best thing is meeting people in the community.
Yeah, for sure. That's what
Come
it was.
down, meet people.
The show almost was a byproduct and a secondary to actually having a community together and having a few drinks together.
And
So-
on that note, there's a meet-up Saturday as
yes,
well,
I was
which I've
just about to
forgotten where
tell
it
you.
is. Go
So
on then.
this Saturday, so we're putting this out on I don't know Thursday
Thursday.
the 11th. So if you're listening to this in the next 48 hours, we have the meet-up that the Who Got the Assist boys have arranged at the Marylebone Kitchen and Grill, or Bar and Kitchen, something like that. It's called Marylebone Bar and Kitchen. Search it on Twitter because you'll find it definitely. Starts at 3 o'clock. both of us will be there a bit later, probably around about 6 o'clock. 6. Nah? You want to go earlier? Okay, we'll be there a bit earlier, at 5 o'clock, 5:30. But do come down, and there'll be plenty of people.
You want
in
them
the
all
community now.
tapping their wrist at R4 going, oh, where are they?
Yeah, true. Okay, we'll see. We'll be down early evening. We'll sit down, have a few drinks, maybe grab some food down there as well. So if you are available, 13th July, hit up Tom and Nick on Who Got the Assist and make your way down. There's no tickets. There's no nothing. It's literally just
No,
turn up,
the
off
only
you
thing,
go.
I mean, Tom's, I've not listened to his latest pub with Neil Murray, but I know he was saying to me they'd booked a table for 20.
Right, okay.
And the anticipation is there's going to be about 50 people going.
Yeah, sure.
So I said to him, do you think about ordering another fucking table, you bellend?
Yeah.
And he said, oh yeah, what a great idea, Jim. And then the place wanted to charge £10 a head to book another table. So he said, look, not booking another table. People are coming at various times from 3 till late. So it's just going to be like
Hopefully it should be all right. And people will stand by the bar.
a
and
pub
whatever else it is.
takeover. And
We'll manage it, mate.
yeah,
Not a problem at all.
be in the garden vaping or some shit anyway. Whatever, yeah.
Exactly. But other than that, 24th of August, we're going to get it live. By the time this podcast's out, I think, which will be later tonight, the Eventbrite listing will be up. Again, it'll be, we need to finalise the details, but more than likely a fiver to get in, but that covers your first beer. And the only reason we're doing that is to regulate the numbers, because we have a fixed cap of how many we can get in. So do search that up on Twitter and Eventbrite, and do come down to Planet FPL Live too. It's going to be pretty special.
Boom.
Anything else to add?
You're away next week.
Yeah, I'm back on Friday, so we could record a show on Friday, and I'm only in the UK, so...
We'll do either the Friday or the Monday, but we've got some plans and stuff as we get closer.
Yep.
Less blagging and a bit more focused.
Exactly, yeah. But now's the time to take it easy and muck around a little bit rather than get too focused.
Yeah,
We've
chill.
got 4 weeks till season
Keep
starts.
an open mind.
Exactly.
Keep an open mind.
Other than that, leaves me to say nothing other than ciao for now.
Cue music, man, child.
The Fantasy Football Show.